Hello, everybody. Do I see? I don't see. Oh, there's Eric. I do see Eric. Okay. Eric, are you there? We'll have to wait for him to respond so we can start.
While we're waiting, I want to see, can people hear me?
Yes,
Thank you very much.
Yes. Am I in?
you are.
All right.
Eric, are
Maybe
you
there's,
there? Well, how is everybody doing? We really can't have a meeting until Eric pops on the screen. I think Becky's calling him. Okay.
You gotta love the small townness.
Right? Or the busyness of a summer week or whatever, you know,
From his picture, he's on the beach.
right?
He's trying again. He was having trouble. He
Okay,
got knocked off.
no biggie. You can wait a couple minutes. Did anyone do anything fun today besides work? No? Yes?
I went to Boston to testify to the legislature, and I love living here because we don't have traffic.
So you got to appreciate the non-traffic, right? Experience it and appreciate I've had that experience a few times too, so I agree.
I have to say, I saw Michael online and he did a great job. We really appreciate all of his effort. He spoke well there and then spoke afterwards with one of the representatives. So great job, Michael. Thank you so much. I think it's his birthday as well, but I'm not sure.
Is that a no?
Next
Oh,
week.
next week. Oh.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
It's Brian Wilson's birthday, if anyone cares.
I do. Who's old enough to remember who that is?
That's right.
And Eric's gonna sing for us. And
No, I'm
Yeah.
not. No singing.
All right, since we're starting our meeting a little behind already, shall we call the meeting to order, Eric?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, Becky, yeah, we usually go over the agenda at this point. So, there are many things listed: minutes, a joint meeting with planning board and select board, our annual appointments, PFAS, personal robocall.
Action forms.
Thank you.
And those will actually be signed by the select board in person after the meeting.
Pollinator plan, emergency management director, deputy director, job description, along with the firefighter 3-hour minimum response call. Choose a day for the next select board meeting. That's not July 4th. COVID policy, select board vote on a gift account, assessor consultant agreement, US Corps, Army Corps work start form, select board review, legal counsel for Concom, your administrator updates, meeting with special municipal attorney candidate and Jeff Lacy in an executive session. So that's really what we have planned for our short evening tonight. So shall we get started with public comment? Does anyone have a public comment they'd like to share? I see Mary Lou. Mary Lou, go ahead.
Hi, Mary Lou Conca. This is actually a question about your agenda. What you just said, something about attorney candidate. Do you mind to explain what that means? Thank you.
The attorney showed up a couple of times on the agenda. Did you have a specific one, Mary Lou?
I think where you're saying attorney candidate, it sounds like you're going to be taking,
And
A
then that's an
vote for-
executive session for reason number 3. So we won't be
Oh, I
talking about
see.
that in open session. Yes.
I see. Thank you.
Does anyone else have a public comment? No? Okay. Oh, I see Miriam. Then we'll move on.
Hi, I'm just following up on the email that I sent to the select board. As I mentioned in the email, we received a letter from email from Donna McNichol yesterday in which we learned that she is not going to do a legal review of our draft bylaw regulation. She's decided she needs to recuse herself because of her residence down at the lake. I guess she believes that it creates a conflict of interest for her, which leaves us in a position where we still have agreed as a commission that we would like a legal review. I believe the commission will be interested in choosing an attorney to work with. We have worked with Beth Goodman in the past, and the commission has found her guidance very helpful. And she's also a municipal attorney in Western Mass, which would, I think, make her well qualified to fill this need. The town had designated 5 hours in fiscal year 23 for this review. And of course, this review isn't going to take place now in fiscal year 23. So I think the commission will be interested in having the town clarify if funding will be allocated in fiscal year 24, and if we can have approval of a council. I do have it on our agenda for Thursday night to entertain what the commission would like to do at that point.
Okay.
Melissa?
Yes. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to state that there was an email that just went out before the meeting from the select board regarding that, Miriam.
Can you summarize what it said?
It's public comment and we.
Yes, we don't usually respond during
And
public
the
comment.
bottom line is the select board is requesting that the Concom meet with them at a select board meeting. At the next
I
select
see.
board meeting.
So it looks like the select board is going to be discussing using Gregor McGregor. I would just like to point out, and I certainly think the commission would welcome any input from Gregor McGregor. He is a very accomplished attorney, and anything he has to offer, we would appreciate. But I think that we are going to need a council that we can work with as a consultant for us. I'm not sure whether he can really work for as a consultant for us while he's actively working for the select board, representing the select board on permitting on Lotto 32. I suspect that may be a conflict of interest for him to be representing and working with both parties in this situation. Not to say we wouldn't welcome whatever he has to offer. So I'm just wondering, if the commission moves forward and wishes to hire its own attorney, if the select board would review our request for the 5 hours that had been previously approved.
I think with the full select board, we'll be back in 2 weeks, and it was expressed that it should be the full select board having the conversation.
And just for a point of clarification, I think what we need, in addition to just a legal opinion from an attorney reading the document, is we need somebody to meet with us and our consultant in some working sessions and go over the draft.
Miriam, I think that stuff we'll put in. I think what you're going into is a discussion about it. And I think we'll put that in the meeting when we meet with the Concom. So what you're saying can be heard by the whole Concom and the select board all together in one place, rather than public comment in a select board meeting, tonight's select board meeting.
That sounds good to me. We have a long agenda
do.
here.
Okay, so moving on, we have the minutes from May 9th of 2023.
I'm sorry,
oh,
we have to pass over those.
Okay, we'll punt those to the next meeting then. All right, our joint meeting with the planning board and the select board.
I believe Deacon's here with a
Deacon?
quorum.
Yes, a handsome quorum. Why, do you want me to just call to the planning board to order now?
Yes, a good idea, yes.
Okay, let the planning board be in order.
And I just need some reminder of why we're meeting with them. I wasn't able to catch up on email today. Work did not allow
Hey.
that. So Becky said
We're-
she'd help me fill in on those things.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ashley Pycroft is here to be appointed as associate member for the next term. this
Yes,
coming year.
yes.
Okay, and that just needs our vote.
It needs a roll call vote by both committees.
Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we need a majority vote of the people of the members of both boards in attendance. So we're gonna need a minimum of 4 votes to approve.
okay,
And Ashley's here if you wanted to hear anything. She's been acting as an associate already, but
would you
Yeah,
like?
I'd love to hear Ashley
Yeah.
speak.
Okay, hello.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm happy to be associate member again. It's been working out well for me. I've been just sitting in on meetings and trying to listen and learn to how all of this works. And I'm very busy. I'm late because I had to run out and pick up my son sort of at the last minute, wasn't planning on it. So associate membership has been convenient and working out well. And I'm happy to assist the board as best I can moving forward. Do y'all have any questions?
We're very happy to have you join us. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just curious what your experience, I'm not saying no or anything. I'm just asking what if you have experience in this field.
Not much. I've lived in town for 20 years and I have experience working with the PTO, so I have understanding of how meetings work and all of that. And we went through a 501c3 process, so I learned a lot of the formalities and ins and outs of just town bureaucracy doing that. And as far as understanding what the planning board does, I'm learning just by watching, seeing about the different things that are approved for property owners in town and the different types of things that come before the planning board. And personally, I became interested and aware of just the planning board's existence and what they do because of the potential for development near my house by Coles for solar. And also just all these years of living here and seeing the logging happening and, being neighbors with Coles in that way. Sharing an entrance in my property, their driveway and my driveway. So just seeing the capacity of the planning board there. But besides that, not much. I'm a high school teacher. Last day of school today. Thank God it's summer. Finally. And I'm just learning as I go.
Okay, thanks.
I'll say just volunteer as planning board member that Ashley's been an excellent associate member, has attended most of the meetings, asked questions, participated some, and has completely filled the position, although she hasn't been called in yet. I'm sure when she is, she'll be a very good member in that case. So no problem endorsing her continuance.
and just as a preview for the select board, we can have 2 associate members. The other person that we had is not continuing, but we're hoping to put out a town announce and asking people if they're interested, because we really want to have a roster of 2 people. We just don't have another person at this point.
they weren't going to finish. They were going to just not renew after the end of the, okay.
We scared them off.
Oh, no.
It wouldn't be hard.
No. All right.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you.
Oh, go ahead, Bon Deacon.
Oh, no, I was just thanking Eric for his confidence.
Right.
All right.
That's a general comment about, not particularly the planning board. Anyway, sorry.
That's okay. Do I hear, Eric, do I hear a motion to appoint, your first name was Ashley, correct? Did I hear that correctly? Okay, Ashley Pycroft as associate member to the planning board.
So moved.
Okay, I guess I'll second that. And all those in favor?
Stalker,
I think
aye.
it's a roll call.
Yeah, make
Oh.
peace O'Neill, aye. Yep.
Yeah, go
do you
Deacon.
wanna-
I'm so,
You wanna,
okay, Nathan Murphy,
Aye.
Do we have to do a motion too, Deacon?
That's
well, that's a good
a
question.
joint meeting, right? So I think it's, we're all voting together, right?
Yeah,
It's all one vote, yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
it's
cool.
one,
okay. Okay, so I'll call the roll. Nathan Murphy,
Aye.
Michael DeCara,
Aye.
Jeff Lacy,
Aye.
Jeff Weston,
Aye.
I'm an I. Do you want me to call Eric and you, Melissa, or do you want to do that?
she already did.
I already did.
Okay,
Yep,
Yeah.
I think we've hit our 4 majority, so I think Ashley, you've been appointed.
I think we're good.
Unanimously.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
We should do
Deacon,
this
do you
more
want to
often.
do you want to close the planning board part?
Yes, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
Okay, I didn't hear who seconded.
Murphy seconds.
Yeah.
Uh, Everybody did.
Right.
That's what I thought. Okay, I'll call the roll. Nathan Murphy,
Aye.
Michael DeCara,
Aye.
Jeff Lacy,
Aye.
Jeff Weston,
Aye.
I'm an I. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
See y'all later.
Okay. Moving on to annual appointments. Still only a few minutes behind. So annual appointments, we have our list here. Eric, were you able to view it online at all?
I was, my only question really was wondering whether the Board of Assessors, Howard, is his name spelled correctly, his last name?
Oh, yes, it is.
It is.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
Shepner.
Shepner.
Yeah,
So
That was my only
last-
question.
Okay, last year we went page by page, kind of grouped together. Eric, do you feel comfortable doing that? Because I can run through.
I feel
Or would
comfortable
you
doing
like
that.
to do the whole thing at once.
I'm fine with doing the whole thing at once if that's what, yeah, if that works, that's fine with me. 'Cause I think I'm fine with all of it.
I'm okay doing that because we are running behind already. So,
Exactly.
do I hear a motion to approve the appointed officials list for July 1st, 2023 and through June 30th, 2024?
So moved.
Okay, I'll second that. Any further questions or comments? No? Okay, all in favor?
Stalker, aye.
Make peace of Neil, I. That doesn't need a signature at all, Becky, right?
no, just the 48 PAFs.
No, that's not good. Which is the next one. So we have the next one is the personal action forms. For those who don't know what those are, they are an employment position, person assigned to the position or appointed to the position, and then pay rate, and it's signed by the select board, personnel board, and
Finance committee. but-
finance
And I'm sorry, the supervisor. the direct
supervisor.
supervisor.
So shall we do those as a group or in by department? Becky, we did them as.
Well,
a group.
actually, I would like to postpone that piece.
Okay.
I'll be ready to sign on Thursday.
You want to postpone voting on them or signing them?
You can vote on them. Signing them will be Thursday.
Just give me a text and I can pop in if Rita's not back or.
Okay.
Okay. So do I hear a motion to approve the personal action forms for all town employees for fiscal year 2024?
So moved.
Okay. Any further questions? Becky, anything else we need to know?
No, that it's just going to be based on off the main sheet from the budget that you've already seen in the budget with a 3% increase to all employees.
Right, this is putting what everybody voted at town meeting into play for the employees.
Yeah, so it'll be on their individual files. And sent.
Awesome. All right, all in favor?
Stalker, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. All right. Moving on to the pollinator plan committee formation. So this is forming a committee for pollinator, for the pollinator plan. Becky, do we have how many people will be part of this?
That's to be determined. I think
Okay.
5 would be an appropriate number. So we're creating this new committee. And we're doing it with optimism since we already had one person volunteer. Penny Jakes has volunteered to work on the pollinator plan committee. This is a regional effort with the FERCog. And we hope to, over the summer, they will be doing some of their research, determining there's going to be a workshop with the towns involved, which are Heath, Shelburne, Conway, Greenfield, Bernardston, Montague, Wendell, and Orange.
Okay. All right. We're going to call it the pollinator plan committee.
It fits the bill.
Okay, all right.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
The email from Tamsin referred to us convening an ad hoc committee. She referred to it that way. Sounds like we're sort of bypassing that step, and which is fine. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just not what she asked for.
Well, you can change it however you want, Eric. So the difference is it'll be shorter lived potentially as an ad hoc committee.
Right.
It's still, even an ad hoc committee is required to post their meetings and everything.
Okay, so we can just take that out of. Okay, that's fine with me. I just pointing it out as much as anything else.
Yeah,
We
can do that.
We may find use or help with other areas of as well.
Right.
So, yeah. All right. So do I hear a motion to form the new pollinator plan committee of 5 members?
So moved.
I'll second that. Any further questions or discussion? All right. All in favor?
Stalker, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. Awesome.
And I assume we would appoint those people as they come available, right? I assume that's. how
And
it works. Okay.
another thing to add to our long list of volunteers too, that we just appointed.
All right.
Becky, Emergency Management Director, Deputy Director, job description updates. I'll
Okay.
separate that out from the fire department minimum.
So what we have is we have a situation where when they last met, last year, our new police chief willingly and took on the role of Director of Emergency Management. And Lenny at that point stepped down and became, instead of the director, was the deputy director. This year, having gone through a full year, each of them in the positions, they are ready to move back to the fire chief, again, resuming the position of Director of Emergency Management. And the police chief will will go back to being the Deputy Director if the Select Board so votes. And this is a request from both chiefs. They are both happy to make this change. And I think it will suit everybody's current situation now that Lenny has had more time as fire chief and is more acquainted with his role. And our police chief is more comfortable now at finishing her first year as police chief. Any questions about the change?
Sounds fine to me.
One question, will Lenny start to have our monthly meetings again? I don't know if you talked to him about that at all.
I did encourage it. We'll see how soon they start.
Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so that needs a vote from us, or was that more of an update? It needs a vote from us, like an appointment? That's kind of.
It does need a vote because it's a change to the job description and only you guys can make those.
Okay. So do I hear we'll take them separately, I guess. Do I hear a motion to make Fire Chief Lenny Zawaka Emergency Management Director?
So moved.
Okay. So I'll second that. All in favor?
Stalker, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. And do I hear a motion to make Police Chief Kristen Burgess Deputy Director of Emergency Management Deputy Director? I think that's the full title, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So moved.
Okay. I'll second that. All in favor?
Stalker, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. Okay, so we also have to vote on the firefighter 3-hour minimum response call.
And I just wanted to review that for the Select Board. I think Eric may not, well, Eric is in the, Eric's on the Select Board, but you probably you're not on the Personnel Board, and Melissa's on the Personnel Board.
Correct.
So I just wanted to open that quickly and read the changes.
Do you want me to fill in a little bit of discussion the Personnel Board had, Becky? Does that help?
Sure,
or-
that would be wonderful. Well,
So at the last Personnel Board meeting, we actually talked about it quite likely, didn't we, actually? And so we wanted to come up with a policy to put in the handbook. And it's a short one to start with, but the reasoning behind the 3-hour minimum was to maintain and be able to keep some of our firefighters and make sure they're compensated for their time when they're called away, middle of the night, middle of dinner, all those times that they're called. And we really thoroughly thought it out in the Personnel Board, discussing every possible situation we could imagine that this be brought up as a call. So, but it was supported unanimously by the Personnel Board.
and the language is, as Melissa said, it's very simple. The title is a firefighter's 3-hour minimum call response pay policy. And the policy is firefighters will be paid a minimum of 3 hours when they respond to a call, be it day or night.
Kind of short and sweet.
Yeah, it sounds fine. It makes sense to me. I get it. I was in business a long time. I understand the whole thing about paying people sort of minimums for their time. So it makes good sense to me.
All right. So do I hear a motion to approve the firefighters 3-hour minimum call response pay policy, and it to be added to the personnel handbook?
So moved.
Right. I'll second that. And all in favor?
Stalker, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. Good. Okay. The next item is to choose a day for the select board meeting, not July 4th.
So there's basically a choice of Wednesday or Thursday nights. And
Now let me glance at something just real quick.
I think Rita's available on Wednesday, but
Yeah, I think I'm fine for Thursday. I'm good Wednesday or Thursday, so I look open.
I'm good neither, but I'm gone that week, so
oh,
I'm
that's
just
right.
gone, so do whatever, you make whatever works for you.
Is Wednesday okay, Melissa?
Yep, I'll put it on there now so that's taken.
Excellent. Thank you.
Do you want me to draft up? Last year I drafted up just a little, here's where we might be meeting and might want to exchange a day for holidays. Just
That would
to-
be great.
Okay.
Yeah, that was good. That was very useful.
Yeah, it just gives us a guide,
Yeah.
Make sure we're on time. Okay. All right. Do we need to vote that, Becky?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Scheduling.
COVID policy completion. This was something that I had asked to be put on the agenda to talk about. So we are now officially at the end of the federal COVID declaration, and it has ended. Many companies and municipalities are starting to archive, and for history's sake, their COVID policies that they had put into place. And so might we consider doing the same? I guess is that, and no, go ahead.
No, my only question would be, people are still getting COVID. I have several friends who have it or recently have had it, for example.
I had a workmate that just had it too.
There you go. So do we want to have any kind of policy that says those people should not come to work for X amount of time? That's all it would say. Doesn't, I don't know. I'm just asking that. And I sort of defer to the Board of Health, frankly.
I think it's not Becky, that's a good idea. Let's maybe ask the Board of Health the question of if there's a length of time that they should stay out. I was thinking more so, masking policy can be if someone chooses to mask, they can mask if they like to, right? Not required in any way. Up to a person's individual preference. Sick time could revert back to if you do end up with COVID, use your accumulated time instead of that special time that we had established. And then maybe we should consider having in-person meetings again. I know they will end up being hybrid because Zoom is part of our lives forever. But that's for a discussion, I suppose, for our larger select board. But anyway, those are the thoughts I was having. I see two hands. Oh, go ahead, Eric, first.
No, just those sound good to me, those policies. But I do think we want to have something that says if somebody's sick, they are not walking into the town hall, for example, without a mask on and blah, 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 blah.
I think it also should apply to not just COVID.
That's maybe
any
true.
Illness, just a blanket, any illness. Do you mind if we take questions, Eric?
No, not at all. No.
Mary Lou, I saw yours first.
Hi, yes. I'm curious, where can we find the COVID policy? And Melissa, you said something about ended. Are you referring to like I don't know what that means.
The federal government declared the end was May 11th of 2023 of the public health emergency declaration ended on May 11th federally.
Okay. And where can we find the town's COVID policy? Is that like on the website?
It was just taken down to be updated because it's no longer, we're trying to determine what a small piece of it will remain. And that's part of the reason for tonight's meeting.
Yeah, I see. Thank you.
Yeah,
So that is my question for the web committee to leave up the please be courteous to town hall and wear your mask, which is what's up there now. Can we leave that? It doesn't refer to a policy, but it does refer to a sensitivity, as Eric says, to the people in town hall.
I think we could maybe change it, and if someone feels like they would like to wear one, they can wear one. I mean, I honestly haven't worn one in town halls for quite a while. But I think it's a personal, I think we're at a point where it can be a personal and individual, an individual choice to wear one or not,
So
don't-
personal
we
to the
have-
person coming into town hall and not to the people in town hall?
Well, if people in town hall want to wear a mask, they can wear one as well. I'm not saying anyone that they can't wear masks,
Right. Okay.
loosen it up a little bit.
Yeah, I would agree with what you're saying, Melissa. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like you, I have not worn a mask for a while in town hall, which maybe I should have, but I did not, have not.
Masks can remain available, but I think
Yeah.
we can take the sign down at
Yeah,
this
if
point.
people if they want to wear the mask, they certainly are more than welcome to. So.
So I should take down the request to wear a mask in town hall? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Becky, we can still have a sign on, just maybe a sign on the door that says individual, it's up to an individual who I think my camera has done something funny, so I apologize. So leave it up to, just the, individual preference if you want to wear a mask.
And we'll have masks available if people do want to wear them.
Right.
If anybody's sick,
Yeah.
they should wear them.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think-
it seems to me the general policy, we should, frankly, I think we should defer to the Board of Health and just ask them to weigh in. Just what do they think the policy should be?
I have done that a number of times, and Catherine continues to say it's based on the CDC policy, which so for COVID, it gives you a number of days, 5 days after you've tested positive, you should stay quarantined. But that's what it's down to. There's little guidance beyond that, and having to wear, if you have COVID, wear a mask in public. So it's, and then my policy for, the interim policy was, we had one person recently with COVID, but they followed the same protocols that we have been following, not coming back until they tested negative. That policy was the one where some people can go 60 days without testing negative, so you have to use some amount of reason with that policy. Melissa, I can't tell if you're.
I know, I'm agreeing with you. I'm sorry. I don't want to touch the camera because I'm afraid it'll kick me out.
Right.
I think it's just updated.
Excuse me, Melissa, may I speak?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so you're having a town policy to have people get tested? Am I understanding that right?
No.
No.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Okay. So maybe we should hold off on making any votes on this until we hear from the town Board of Health on anything that we discussed, or are we okay with removing the sick time back to accumulated time, ending the requirement for masks, making it personal preference?
Yeah, I'm okay
I
with
said, but I
that.
don't remember what that was. Okay.
So if here's my question. So if someone has COVID, an employee has COVID, they don't come, they quarantine for 5 days,
Mhm.
and they are eligible for sick time during that time?
We
That's a
had them use a special version of sick time. I don't remember. I haven't read through the policy to remember what that was called. Becky, what was that called?
The CARES Act used to provide some funding, but since the CARES Act is done and ARPA is still active, but with the end of the declared public health emergency on May 11th, no money from ARPA can be used for that. So we need to make sure that we make employees aware that they have to use their own sick time if they have COVID at this point.
I'm okay with that. I mean, I think at this point, COVID to me is sort of like, it's sort of like somebody getting the flu or whatever. It's like, I don't know, why would a COVID person be able to collect this special or some kind of special sick time and someone with the flu can't? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Right,
Especially when the funding's no longer available.
Well, yeah, well, that's for sure.
All right, so Becky, so do we need to vote on any of those three things?
So we have
Do we?
no mask requirement,
Right, personal choice, right?
no compensated sick time was the second one, and the third one, what was the third one, Melissa?
Quarantine for 5 days, right?
Okay, that's right. We're
That's right,
continuing.
right. The length of time that they had to stay out because of illness.
Right. Okay. There you go.
Would you feel better that we vote on that? I did
I
toss
would,
toss in
because-
there going back to in-person meetings, but that might be a discussion for us as a larger select board, and we need to figure out technology too. Great.
Great. So if we just stick with these three, I think that would be very helpful. And if we voted that tonight.
Right. So do I hear a motion to adjust the COVID policy to resuming to using employees' accumulated sick time for illnesses, quarantining for 5 days if they test positive for COVID, and to lower the mask requirement to personal choice instead of required? Does that work, Becky?
Yeah.
Okay, has a motion. Okay.
Second,
All right. All those in favor?
Stalker, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Geneva, did you get that? Would you like it repeated? Okay.
Is she good? Okay,
No, I think I'm good. It's being recorded, so.
that's true.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Select board vote to open a gift account for donations for Shutesbury Legal Fund for planning board solar bylaw. We've been proposed with Becky, I don't want to touch my screen for the email, but proposed.
Michael DeCara, I think is the one who sent the email.
Yep.
I don't see him now.
No, I don't either.
Okay.
I'll run through what I can remember from reading the email, that there are some donations that the planning board has been approached about, and to receive those funds, we as the select board have to vote to open a gift account. And they will be earmarked for the legal fund for the planning board solar bylaw challenge. So that's what I remember from that email. Michael DeHere was going to collect the checks and coordinate the data on those.
And I'm just,
We had
I
to-
get the question I have is who would administer that fund? Who is it? I mean, the select board administers it, I assume, or what, how's that happen?
no. It would be like it would be our financial officers. It would be open to audit. It would be handled by the accountant and the treasurer. Deposits would be given to the treasurer, and he would make them and reconcile them with the accountant.
Okay,
and then all of that is public record too, donors' names and such is public record. because it comes in that way, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I know I have quite a few questions on how money, who's campaigning, how is it being campaigned for? What is the wide net that's being cast? Where is the donations coming from? Who's heading up the campaigning for the fund? I have a lot of questions. I don't quite feel comfortable voting on that without those questions answered. What strings are attached with some of the donations? So those are just some of the things that I have questions on. And what role does the Shutesbury Solar Group that has formed play in this fundraising? What type of tone is the fundraising? All of those, I have a lot of those questions, and I'm not comfortable voting without those questions being answered at this point. I don't know how you feel, Eric, but I think we need to know at least some of that information before we start accepting donations.
I'm okay with that. We could, I would assume we could sort of define that we will accept donations to for the court fees, the legal fees for a specific thing, in particular the
Planning board.
the solar bylaw.
Right.
So I'll get COVID myself probably. But anyway, I'm okay with waiting too. If you're not comfortable, that's fine with me. I mean, we can wait and get a little more clarification on that.
Yeah, that's at the point I'm at.
Melissa, I think
Yes.
Michael just
Oh,
logged back
there
in.
you are, Michael. We
Oh.
started having our conversation.
Sorry.
On the sorry, my camera's not working. I'm afraid if I touch it, I'm gonna disappear completely. So
I know what you look like.
I don't have it off, but so we were just starting conversation about the legal fund.
Yes. Want me to tell you about it?
Yeah, I'm not sure I did a great summary of it to the public. I did. I went off what I could remember. Again, I
Okay.
don't touch my computer to open the email.
Okay.
So if you give a quick synopsis, and then I've got a whole bunch of questions.
Sure. So, and I'm glad I hopped on early. I think this was 6:40, but I was thinking I should be here. Anyway, so as you know, the town's getting sued. And so that's going to require legal fees, both with Donna and any other activities regarding that Donna feels is appropriate, and whether it's another lawyer or experts or whatever. So based on conversation, that's going to cost the town money. And what I was thinking that I talked to Donna about is if there's a way of defraying the costs, so the town wasn't doing it, since, just reflecting on, for example, the vote for the new solar bylaw, since it was almost unanimous. Clearly, there's people in town who care about this. The three things that we're getting sued for is the current bylaw, the recently passed bylaw, and then the decision about a subdivision submission. So 3 different things. So hold on one sec. I just walked in and didn't shut the door. So the idea was to create a legal defense fund so that we can get non-town money to help pay for the legal costs. So I talked to Gail at town meeting to get some information. Gail, our town accountant, followed up with talking to Ryan about how it should go. I talked to Rita and I talked to Donna. Everyone seemed to be fine with the idea of creating a legal defense fund. So it's just creating a fund. And then from there, we can put out the word that if people want to help the town of Shutesbury and support the solar bylaw that we passed in terms of the legal suit, that we can accept money, the town can accept money. And then the way the motion is written, either Rita or Becky can release funds to pay to Donna, is the way I was envisioning it. So that's the summary.
Okay,
That makes sense?
it does. You did a better job than I did.
Okay.
So Eric, did you have any questions before I asked a few?
No, I'm okay with it. I mean, I think generally it should obviously, to me, it should be encouraged. I mean, it's a lot of money. One of the questions that, maybe it's a different question, but one of the questions I've, in my mind, think about the legal suit is like, what are the odds we'll win? And
That's definitely a
maybe
different
that's-
question.
It maybe
That
is a
is
different question, but it is a question that has not been discussed in any way, as far as I know.
I think if we had that conversation, it'd be an executive session.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but yeah,
Well, it'd be part
Anyway,
of
I'm in favor of this.
strategies.
yeah, I'm in favor of this plan. Is fine. I mean, that's fine.
Melissa,
So-
what were your questions?
So some of my questions were, so money will be raised, there'll be a campaign to raise funds is my guess, right? That's
Yeah.
how things usually go when you make a legal defense fund. So my questions were, how would that be run? Who would be running that campaign? Well, we'll start there.
Okay, so my thinking is different people will have different approaches to doing it. What I wanted to do is basically have a destination point. So if, for example, like came up earlier, I was at the State House today, testifying on changing the law so that towns could reasonably regulate solar so that we wouldn't be getting sued. So just say I was there today and someone said, oh, in fact, I talked to someone who was the president of a solar company today, and he was actually very supportive of what we're doing, which is interesting. But if he said, how can we help? I would say, we've got it. The town has got a legal defense fund. Here's how you do it. So that would be me doing it. There's other people in town who are probably going to be talking to other people. So I don't think there's Melissa, I think you're correct that oftentimes when people do a fundraising initiative, there's there's an organized campaign. Some people might want to organize around it to get more information. My thought was there's a lot of towns, so how this plays out for Shutesbury, since this is the first solar bylaw that was created after the SJC decision, it has relevance for many municipalities across the Commonwealth. So it's not just a Shutesbury problem, it's an other town problem as well. And so my thinking is, if I was talking to other towns, I could say, this is relevant to you if you want to help us. And by that, indirectly help yourself, because we need to win, for us and for you. This is, write us a check. So I think people will do it different ways. That's my thought. I'm sure people will organize who care about this stuff, but my thought was really just to create a way of catching the money, so to speak.
And the other question, well, I have a couple more, which is, what role will the Shutesbury Solar Group that is formed with the GoFundMe and such play a role in campaigning for this?
It's up to them. It's not they're not a town thing. So this is just a town thing. So I think this is the town basically having an account that can collect money, and, Smart Solar can do whatever Smart Solar is going to do, because they're just residents separate from the town.
So at what point does this remove town meeting or the town being able to decide on funds to go forward or not go forward in a way that it removes town meeting from those decisions and townspeople as a larger group?
Well, my despite how hopeful I would like to be, I think this is going to make a dent. But if the lawsuit continues as is, the town's going to be paying the bulk of the money anyway. And so that's going to be a select board, town meeting, FinCom decision. I think it's really to sort of take the edges off a little bit and try to defray as much as we can. And the way it's written, it's up to Rita as chair of the select board and then Becky to sort of release the money. So it doesn't even involve the planning board. But I'm sort of hesitant to talk about the amounts of money only because Donna raised that in executive session. And I don't know.
Oh, we don't need to talk about dollars. I'm talking in general.
Yeah. So I think, the town's going to foot most of the bill basically. But it seems like if people can help, residents or people in other towns, that would be welcome. So just making the ability for that to happen, because I can imagine someone saying, can I write you a check? Can I help? And if we didn't have this ability, we couldn't accept the money, is my sense.
And the one concern I have is someone comes in and writes a big donation of a large amount and it comes with strings.
I
What
don't,
happens then?
well, my expectation is there's no strings. You just write the check, so like when I work at the community foundation, for example, there's donor advised funds. And it'll say like, I want to create a scholarship for, blonde haired kids who come from Chelsea, who are, from parents who grew up in Indiana, real specific kind of things. That's not what this is. This is just a donation. It's not sort of a contractual thing. So I don't think there's a place for conditions. I think it's a check or a no check kind of thing. But I think it's a good question.
Well, because large donors oftentimes say, well, we'll donate this money if this happens, right? And that
Right.
happens in nonprofits, that happens in colleges, that happens in municipalities, I'm sure. So
I guess,
right. So how would that work if this
Well-
had accepted that?
I think actually, Becky might know, but I feel like it would be a select board decision to, if there was something like that, it would have to be a select board decision to accept the gift or not. So, I mean, because it's a check, you don't have to deposit it. You could say, thank you very much.
Mhm.
I mean, it seems to me we could put in this, whatever we're gonna call this agreement, that we will only accept unconditional donations. They're right. You could put that in there.
You could.
Well, I mean, it might be better to leave it just with the select board making the vote, because if someone said, hey, I want to give you $100,000, and oh, by the way, I want to paint Eric Stocker's house.
My house has got shingles on it. It doesn't need paint.
You know what I mean?
That would also
But-
cross ethic
oh,
lines. We wouldn't
no,
be able to
yeah,
accept
here,
it anyway.
I know. Let's see. And we'll do something, we'll remove all the mold remediation and the leak in Becky's office. Like, we want to add that to it, so like,
We'll remove all the black flies in Shutesbury.
yeah. So I
whatever,
think there might be conditions that you would want to consider as a select board, is all I'm saying. So if you guys are the gatekeepers to any conditions, it seems like the town is protected.
That's
Is
fine too.
anybody
But yeah,
else's thing stuttering, or is it just mine?
What is
I
stuttering?
think I've lost everybody.
I can
no,
still,
you're here. You're here. We can hear you.
You can still hear me. I can't hear anybody else. Okay.
Susie has her hand up there. I don't know.
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna ask one more question, Susan. I promise I'll get to you. So the other concern that I have is that if there is any campaigning out there for money, that it may be done in a tone that that is politically divisive, and I'm not sure I feel comfortable setting up a gift fund for something that will be accepting money when it's collected under that guise.
So if other people are saying
Makes
send
sense.
stuff so if you're saying if other people are trying to raise money and they send it to the town of Shutesbury as the legal defense fund, that if the pitch was not, if you thought it was divisive, it would feel bad. Yeah, I mean,
If it wasn't done in an air of attack.
yeah, no, I get you. I guess I
I
mean,
don't think the town should collect
good
money
point.
that's done
Yeah.
under those guises in that air. Like, oh no, we're being attacked and we need help and that sort of thing. I think I feel uncomfortable doing that sort of, when an attack and an attack campaign to get money, I guess. I don't know what quite to call it. I mean, we see a lot of it out there. So
Yeah, I hear
Um,
you.
nationally and whatever.
Yeah, I guess two things I would say. One is,
So
just,
by accepting the money, are we accepting that as a way of campaigning for funds?
well,
I know we can't control, but it's just something I feel uncomfortable with.
yeah, I guess if, I'm
Excuse
just
me.
sort of, I'm just channeling Donna,
I
because I
can't
think,
be hearing you.
legally, we are being attacked. I mean, we're being sued. And it is an adversarial thing. So all we're trying to do is get money to protect ourselves. So in that regard, but I hear what you're saying. I guess it's the balance of, does the town not want to collect money? And sort of just cut off that opportunity, or is it sort of okay to take that risk that other people might try to advocate for raising money for the town in ways that the town can't control? It's a balancing act. I just seemed like if it's a lot of money, and I agree it's going to be. Anything that,
We have to ask the question.
oh, yeah.
You know?
No, it's reasonable. I guess I just do, I'm not like writing the campaign thing, but I do think on a legal perspective, we're just trying to protect ourselves. So, good question.
Yeah, I mean, and this campaign, let's say it's a pro-solar, anti-solar campaign, if that's sort of the divisive nature of it that we're talking about. There's nothing that says that someone can't donate to the other side. That's up to the other side to decide. And we don't decide.
I'm having trouble hearing everybody. Hold on, let me open the door and see if I can get some better Wi-Fi. Hold on.
You want to come down here and jump online?
Yeah, I might need to. I'm on my way. Hang on.
We're going to condense and combine.
Okay.
Okay, sorry about that.
Oh, no, that's fine.
So Melissa, what'd you miss in the answer? Should I repeat myself?
Say that one more time.
What did you miss in my answer that I should repeat?
I heard what I heard was, I heard someone say, good question. I heard you say something about.
I'll just say it again.
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so it is a good question. The two things I said, one was just, thinking about how Donna would think about this. We are getting attacked legally. So what the town is trying to do is defend ourselves. And I agree with Eric that it's going to be a lot of money. So my thought was, if we can do anything just to sort of minimize that cost, that would be good. But it's a point well taken, which I was trying to create an opportunity whereby the town could get some money. If the town's not going to do a campaign, and if, depending on how people are putting the word out, some people have different approaches. So I guess it's up to the select board to say we'll take the risk that make it clear we're not supporting any campaign, but some people will explain it differently than other people. So it's a good question in that regard, but I'd like to think we can get money. And you heard the answer about the conditions, or?
Yeah, I heard that.
Okay.
I heard that.
Then Eric said something wise, but
Well, my point in general is that this creation of this fund does not prevent the creation of another fund. That if somebody wants to give money to Kohl's so they to pay their legal fees, they can. No one says they can't do that. And frankly, I'm sure they'd take it. So that's all. There's no law. We aren't encouraging people to not do that. Whatever.
I see, Susie, I saw your hand first.
There is an office for campaign and political finance. They have a lot of rules. They have a lot of forms. They have a lot of process. I believe that before people start down this road, they need to consult with them and find out what are the parameters. It is, you can think about other campaigns for other things. And even if this doesn't start out as a political campaign, it really does have a lot of politics. So getting the advice from the Office of Campaign and Political Finance would be an important step to not get into deep water.
That's a good point.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's a good point. Make sure we're doing it properly.
yeah, Susie, I know when I talked to the treasurer, I mean, the creation of the fund doesn't involve any of this stuff. I mean, usually the campaigns are around elections and things, not about.
No, it's often about questions. It's about a lot of things. The office has got a lot of stuff that they deal with. So it's, asking the accountant about setting up an account might have a simple answer, but watching how it becomes a campaign finance issue is definitely dealt with through that office.
Thank you, Susie. Mary Lou.
Hi, yes. So Melissa, I'm curious of you seem to be like a hesitant, and you used an example. You said an era of attack, and I'm not quite clear. How would accepting or helping this campaign ever become an air of attack on Shutesbury people? I mean, to the way I see it is like we're gonna get slammed. It's gonna be a slam dunk. And unless we can avoid that, because Coles has like what's the expression, more money than God. Unless we can help to avoid that and accept money from outside from people, we're going to be in big trouble. But at any rate, my question was, I don't understand like what you meant by air of attack.
So,
thank you.
So I'll do it more. My worry is bringing some of what we see nationally into Shutesbury by accepting some of, if money is raised, hopefully I can explain this. So if money is raised in a way that is
Sensationalized?
Thank you, Becky. So sensationalized, or if it's collected, say, hey, we're just looking for money to help us with legal fund, feel free to donate. Here is how you do that, in a way that's graceful and such. It's one thing, but when you go out and it starts to become political or us versus them or that sort of thing, I have always felt as a select board member, the select board is neutral until we're not, right? And so we don't take hard political stances this way or that way. We have to listen to things and then make decisions on them. And sometimes that's against our own political beliefs outside of sitting in that chair. So I'm having to vote on this. I want to make sure that it's not going to undermine that.
So I can respond to that. And Melissa, I totally.
I don't know if that's a great explanation if I'm coming across in that way, but I've always felt this chair is neutral when we decide on things. And I don't want to make this the thing that we have to go through with the bylaw, a huge political thing that's going to create issues in town or on the national stage for Shutesbury, because I think that it could. I agree that it might.
So
I appreciate that, Melissa. If I can talk back for a second, Michael, before you do, I appreciate that very much. But what we have to look at here is a dollar bill is a dollar bill, and money has power. Okay, so, and Michael called it a legal defense. And I mean, if I were in your seat, I'd say, thank you so much to anybody who can give. All right.
Okay, go ahead, Michael.
So Melissa, generally, I appreciate your sort of your balance and trying to sort of have that neutral stand. I think this situation is different in the sense that the town voted a bylaw. So the town said, this is what we want. And someone, Coles and AMP are suing us. and saying, we don't like it and we're against you and we're going to change it. And so it's required to have positions because we didn't ask to get sued. I mean, if they didn't sue us, I think it could be balanced. But right now, everything that we're going to do in terms of spending money is going to detract from other stuff that the town has to do. And so we didn't bring on the fight, but we are in a legal fight. And it's unfortunately, that's how the system is set up. So while I appreciate where what you're talking about, I mean, I just watched it today in the State House. There was a whole slew of developers who came in and said, don't change the law because we need unimpeded access and we just have to keep doing this stuff. And then there's community groups who are saying the reverse, and when now that we're sued, there are different sides, and I guess what I would say in terms of the sensationalizing, like just say Sierra Club said, we see this as an important thing in Massachusetts or, nationally, that localities should have a say in how we implement green energy. You guys decided, you passed a bylaw. We want to support that local voice. They're taking your position. It's just how it's playing out, which doesn't undermine the rest of the select board's balancing. So we didn't bring the suit on, I guess is what I'm saying, but now we're forced to take a position. Even if we don't accept the money, we're going to be paying out, and Donna's going to say, Donna's already told us this is what we have to do. So she's already taking those actions to defend the town. So anyway, my 2 cents.
Thank you. Before I call Mary Lou again, does anybody else have a question? No, Eric, no. Okay, go ahead. Michael, did you still have your hand up for a question?
Oh, no.
I'm not using my computer. So Mary Lou, go ahead, and then I have a suggestion.
I'm sorry, I will take my hand down. I did not realize it was still up. Thank you, Melissa.
So here's where here's my suggestion. I do think it's important to check with campaign finance. Susie raised a very good question to make sure that we're on the up and up with them. And so that's my suggestion, is maybe we hold on to voting on this until we have some information from them along this line. Eric, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think that's a very good suggestion. I would agree with that we don't want to commit ourselves to something that's illegal or whatever they don't like.
What their thoughts are. And I don't mind helping contact them, Becky, if you or tag team it or something. Okay. All right. So I guess we'll push this one to the next select board meeting for
Wednesday, that's the
5th.
5th.
Yes. Okay. Wednesday the 5th. Thank you all for that great discussion.
Thanks for the questions.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate the answers too. All right. So moving on to the assessor consultant agreement. And CIA agreement, acronym I don't remember.
That's because it's the name of a company.
Okay.
So we're going to go to.
You can turn the computer if you need to. My picture's still up there.
I'm going to grab you.
What you need.
All right. So we had CAI Technologies does our updates to mapping. So CAI account for $900 and a $2,000 line item in the assessor's budget. They update our maps, both our physical maps, which is a $900 portion, and our electronic maps that you can all see through by going online. Through the assessor's department, you can see your own plot plan, you can see your property cards. That mapping is financed through this expenditure, and we have a contract for a new year. and that we're coming to the assessor, I'm sorry, to the select board to sign. We will return to the assessors signing themselves next year as they get more settled in. We do have 2 new assessors that are almost credentialed at this point. So this is the contract for 1 year to do the work on the maps online and the physical ones.
Okay. Eric, do you have any questions?
No,
Do I hear a motion to sign the
CAI agreement.
CAI agreement with the town of Shutesbury for
so
10/01/23 through 9/30/24?
so moved.
Okay, I'll second that. All in favor?
Stalker, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. Want me to just sign it there?
Yeah.
Or do you want Rita to sign it?
No, you can sign it and Eric can sign under you because she's not.
Okay.
Hasn't
Let me go.
seen them.
Okay.
And the next one, the next contract for the assessors is with Roy Bishop. He's going to be working with our new assessor, David Burgess, who is our administrative, our main assessor. And he will be doing some of the reval work. If you all recall, he did the revaluation, our 5-year revaluation for us last year. He's familiar with Shutesbury. He's worked with David Burgess. And he will be taking care of our electric utility personal property, which is a very complicated piece of personal property that needs to get done every year now. And he'll work to get all our other valuations recorded. So I have a contract for $5,000 to do a long list of tasks that has been itemized and reviewed by our assessor. Some of the items on the list, David Burgess will actually be doing some of those, but it still is a fair price for the work. Just the 504 utilities, personal property alone was, he quoted $2,000 for, so $3,000 to do all these remaining tasks is a very, I think it's a good situation for the town.
Eric, do I hear a motion for us to sign the agreement with Bishop?
Roy Bishop.
Roy Bishop.
Roy Bishop.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For real property and personal property value adjustment agreement for 2024 fiscal year.
So moved.
I'll second that. All in favor? Signify.
Stalker, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. Do the same thing.
Yeah. And these will be in your box tomorrow, Eric, for you to sign.
Okay, thanks.
And the last item for select board signature is the work start notification form from the Army Corps of Engineers. I'm sorry, and it's not the last item, but it's one of the next items. So it's a pretty straightforward. You're just going to, this can be done just by Melissa. We're just filling in the address, phone numbers, and the dates, the date the work is gonna start and finish.
And what are those dates?
June 28th for start and of 2023, and the end date is September 26, 2023.
Oh, okay.
You got a good pen.
Eric, do I hear a motion to sign the Army Corps work start form for the select board?
So moved.
I'll second that. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Stalker, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. Right, so just sign this here.
Yeah. Where's my other?
So then we move on to today's date is, what is today's date?
The 20th.
Thank you.
I'm not sure.
And then the next item is the select board review of the legal counsel for Concom regulations.
Yes, I just want to make sure we do, I know it was on here. So there's one other select board item. It's that goes along with the dam. We just did the Army Corps. The other issue is going through all the records with the assessor's office. It was noted that the plan, the Mylar mapping portion that went with the easement for Crawford, the Crawford parcel to the north, on the north side, I'm sorry, on the south side of the dam, had not been signed off by the select board. So I'm requesting that you all vote to sign this today or tomorrow with today's dates. The engineer, the surveyor signed off on the plan, and now we need for the select board to sign. There was this process of the survey took some twists and turns and accounted for the delay. So the bulk of the work was done in 21. But this piece of the last document, what you will actually be signing is a Mylar that's in my car that I'm gonna run get before Melissa leaves.
Oh, it's a cop, it's a.
Yeah, it's a
that
full
copy, okay.
Mylar that she'll need to sign in with a Sharpie. So that will also, if this is voted today for signing, it will be voted with written signatures with a Sharpie.
Okay, Eric, do I hear a motion to sign the Mylar version of the, what did you,
It's the plan, the easement plan for the Crawford parcel.
the easement plan for the Crawford parcel?
Can you just explain once again where that is? Yes, I'm in favor, but I'm just a little confused about where it
Do you
is.
see this map at
Here,
all?
put this behind
Eric?
it, put something behind it.
I can put it up online. Can you see this, Eric?
Yeah, I got it up on my other computer here, so,
Okay, so on the parcel to the right, on the far side of the dam, where the work is going to be done in the stream, the bigger
Right.
side that says the Crawford Moore LLC, there's a little arrow pointing to that parcel halfway through the
Right.
stream and up on the hill. They're going to be laying down stones in that area. And because they are going to be doing that and working in the area, we had to get an easement from them to be allowed to do the work.
right. Okay. Good. I get it.
Okay,
Cool.
I made the motion to,
Need a
Eric.
second?
yeah, I'll second it. I don't think I did.
Oh.
Yeah, so Eric, well, let me do it again. I'll make it.
Okay, yeah, do it again.
Do I hear?
You're so good at it.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to sign the plan of the town, Becky said it so much better than I did.
It's the plan
Plan.
for easement on the Crawford parcel.
So moved.
Okay, thank you. Second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Stalker eye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. So Sharpie, okay.
Yes, thank you very much, and I'll get that up.
So that wasn't on here, that was in addition. So we're on to the select board review of legal counsel for Concom regulations.
Executives,
Nope.
No.
That's further down.
that's right.
Yep. So this is to review. So this is to review the select board legal counsel.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Okay, so prior to any events having to do with what Concom is learning from Donna McNichol about recusal, prior to that, the select board had asked for a proposal from McGregor about doing a review of the updated regulations. The regulations were updated on Friday. So the select board, I went out to get a quote from McGregor to do an evaluation that's not of the complete detail of all the work. The evaluation is more general as to whether there are concerns about the bylaw, given the fact that concerns about the regulations being tied to a bylaw from 1987 that has not been updated. So it seems like I have heard from a little bit from select board members that there's concern about wanting to make sure that we are not opening ourselves up to more legal jeopardy in another area. So I reached out to Mr. McGregor and received a quote for $2,500 to do not a cursory, but a general review on the regulations to the bylaw, just to get a response about any concerns that the town might need to consider.
Okay, thank you, Becky. Eric, do you have any questions? So it's a review of, just a review to see if everything aligns with
the new
with
bylaw.
the new bylaw. Okay.
Yeah.
With the new bylaw, but the new bylaw hasn't been written yet.
Right, not with the new bylaw, with the bylaw we have.
Current bylaw.
Right, okay.
Yeah, we only have one local bylaw.
And McGregor is of the opinion, I believe, without putting words in his mouth, that any regulation should be done only after the bylaw has been updated. Is that correct?
When he reviewed just the bylaw and those regulations that were attached to it, his concern was that the 1987 bylaw had significant things that should be updated. Yeah, but he has not, he hadn't seen the regulations, so we're basically the request was made that he look at the regulations to see if they do help make the bylaw more whole, and or how they impact it.
Or if they don't work because the bylaw hasn't been updated, right? I mean, I guess that would be the other part of it, right?
Well, it could be that, but I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
what the findings will be, because regulations are very different.
No, I know. Yeah, right. Yeah, I know. I don't know what the finding will be either, but
Melissa, may I make a comment?
I'll let Eric and I finish first, and then we can invite comments. So I think it's not a bad idea to have it looked at. The fee's not that much. I think it's not that much. And I think it's important for us to know if we're heading into potentially another. I think it's a good idea to be proactive about opening ourselves up to legal challenges. So that's kind of where I'm falling on this.
Yeah.
Did you have any other questions, Eric, before we open?
no, just to agree with that it's yeah. Seems to me if he's a preeminent lawyer in this field, and he has said, as far as I can tell, updating the bylaw, updating the regulation rather, should happen only after the bylaw is updated, then I'd like to hear what he has to say. I think that's only smart thinking.
Yeah, I think proactive is a great option. Eric, do you mind if we open up to the floor?
No, not at all, please.
Go ahead, Miriam.
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
So I have a couple thoughts. One is that I think if we have questions about the bylaw and whether it is legally valid. Rather than spending $2,500 with McGregor, the first place is to seek a review from the Attorney General's office, which would not cost the town any money and would be a decisive opinion that I think would be extremely helpful. My intention is to reach out to the Attorney General's office to see if we can arrange that kind of review. I think even if we're going to revise the bylaw, and you know, I'm really open to exploring that. I think that kind of feedback would be extremely helpful, and I would hope the select board would also be appreciative of that. The bigger issue is not even about whether these particular regulations should be adopted right now. We still need legal guidance. And if you read through the regulations, there's a lot of policies in them. And the commission can adopt policies and must adopt policies. And we need transparent policies, not hidden ones that we pop out when an application's already been submitted and we say, oh, oops, by the way, you got to go through these hoops. We didn't tell you that, but now we're requiring it. So I think that the commission would benefit from a legal consultation about these regulations, even if we were to agree not to adopt them until a new bylaw was crafted and presented to town meeting, because it would guide us in our policy making now, in the months to come and in the applications to come. And we can't not have policies. We have policies, whether they're explicit and transparent to the public, or whether they're hidden and they're based on our biases and our judgment in the moment. And I would rather have them be explicit and transparent to the public. I think that's good practice. And I think that is protective of the town. It protects the town from accusations that permitting is unfair. And I think everybody would agree with that. So I think that the commission would, I haven't presented it to them, but I have it on the agenda for Thursday to ask the commission whether it would like to use its own funds, which would not require any funds from the town, to get legal guidance so that we can decide which policies that are embedded in these regulations we want to use or not use now, even if we're going to hold off on approving these regulations. And so I would really ask for the select board's support in allowing us to use our funds to hire Beth Goodman to do that legal review for us, which I don't think is a substitute for what Gregor McGregor can do, nor do I think he's necessarily should be in that position, since he's being hired by the select board, not the Conservation Commission. I'm certainly happy to hear what he has to say, and we'll take it in and welcome it. And it's a privilege to get feedback from Attorney McGregor, given his stature in our state. So I'm not being critical of his, whatever he comes up with. I'm really talking about the process, and that we would like to use Beth Goodman to look through these regulations with us and try to hammer out some policies. And we would, I believe, need the select board's approval, even though we're not asking the select board for money, because this falls under the category of a special counsel. Right now, we don't have town counsel to advise us. And I think that the town has a responsibility to provide legal guidance to all of its boards. And if town counsel's unsuitable, then I think it is a responsibility of the select board to make sure that the Conservation Commission is well represented and has legal advice when it needs it. Thank you.
And I believe, Marion, that was partly what you were coming Thursday to discuss with the whole board in 2 weeks.
On
Correct?
Wednesday.
On Wednesday. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Wednesday. Yeah, the 5th. So we'll hold off on discussing those things until then. Leslie.
Did I just understand what you said is that you're not going to take up this motion to hire McGregor to do this proactive strike against the ConsCom?
No, we're discussing, the select board is discussing what Becky proposed and has found out the $2,500 to do a general review of the bylaw.
Okay, well, as a resident, 30 years, I'm tired of the Board of Selectmen attacking the Conservation Commission. And they have worked very hard. They know what they need to do, and they've requested to hire their own counsel. They do not need a proactive strike by the Board of Selectmen by hiring McGregor. Let them do their work, approve the work with their money, and hold McGregor in abeyance. The Conservation Commission doesn't need that now. The town doesn't need that now. The commission needs the money to do what it needs to do to hire their own consultant. Very qualified consultant, by the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. Eric, I see your hand.
Okay, well, I would just object to the notion that this is a proactive strike, quote unquote. I mean, that's not the intent of this. No one has used that word, with the exception of Leslie. No one has used it, that phrase, and that's not what it is. It's just a, you know, we want to have a review of these things for the town. That's an independent look at the situation, and that decides whether or not, you know, we're jeopardizing anything. I think we have an obligation to protect the town. We don't want the town jeopardized by us acting in a way that is potentially not correct. I don't think that's a proactive strike.
I agree with you, Eric, and we've used a similar thing in other contracts and other legal documents too. So it's not out of the ordinary for us to do a proactive look at something through a legal lens, which is what we're proposing here. Are there any other questions or comments?
Yeah, may I speak again?
Actually, I see Sharon's hand and she hasn't spoken yet.
Hi, thank you. I want to support the Concom and their wish to hire an independent attorney from Gregor McGregor. And I think just
not what we're discussing. That's actually next Wednesday or 2 weeks from now on Wednesday, where the select board will discuss that.
It just seems like it's up, and I just wanted to support that. And yeah, I think it just has an appearance of conflict of interest, and I don't have any problem with Gregor McGregor, but I think also it'd be really nice for the Concom to be supported to have their own independent counsel as well, if that's what they feel they need. Thank you.
They don't get on.
Okay, Eric, do you feel like you could make a motion for this, or how are you feeling at the moment?
I'm okay. I don't know what the motion would be exactly.
I think I can handle that if you want me to make one, and then you can.
That would be great. Yeah, if you can, that would be great. I can't quite put it in words.
I move that the select board approve $2,500 to the McGregor law firm for a general review of the Concom regulations to see if there are legal issues we need to think about, I guess is what I was thinking. But if you think there's a better motion in that, I will welcome it.
I think that's great. So moved.
Okay, I'll second that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Stocker, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. Thank you all for your comments. We appreciate them.
Hardly.
So next is town administrator updates. Becky?
All right. I was just getting over that last muttered negative comment. Okay, so town hall was hopping today for this second month in a row. The elementary school came to the town hall, where our town clerk And our old town clerk, Leslie Bracebridge, shared maps with first and second graders. It was a really wonderful learning event to break out some of the treasures the town has in the old town hall and share them with youngsters. And I guess the questions that they asked were just really delightful. So it's been good to have the students come to the building, not just the regular one time for preschool, but come back and discover that town hall has other treasures.
Can I scoot in and give kudos for a second? So last week there was a play at the elementary school, and I saw our police department having some fun with the kids. The kids did a great job on their play, and the police department did a great job parking cars and interacting with everybody, trying to get everybody in the gym on time. So we just wanted to give them kudos for that job, and the students for their job with the play. Okay, sorry.
No, that's fine. Everyone has been most likely aware there's been a lot of activity the last this whole month pretty much because of National Grid is coming into town. They are trimming trees very actively from the school, where the Leverett Road, about the school area up to the top of the hill. They've gone down to the lake. They will go down to the lake, and then they'll go into Wendell. The main purpose for this is to bring three-phase power, I guess, into Wendell, and to have it through Shutesbury. It's turned into a much larger project than it seemed at first. Electricity was turned off at Town Hall yesterday during the holiday to service a number of poles that are being replaced. We have quite a number of poles being replaced.
Yeah, you see them lined up. Yeah.
Yeah. So that activity is ongoing. And I don't have much else to report tonight.
Okay. That's great.
Okay.
Is there anything to update about PFAS?
Good question.
It's the PFAS update, the weekly PFAS update, if there is such a thing.
Okay, let's see. PFAS, it's been a little bit quieter this week. Our installer is getting down to about the last 5 or 6 installations that we need to do. So we're getting down to the more difficult ones, the ones with smaller spaces where we've had to put in specialized tanks. And we're coming up, yeah, no, PFAS is a little bit quiet right now. That's all I have.
Yeah. Okay. The next thing for us is an executive session. So we do this in open session where we say that we will be going into executive session for reason number 3, to discuss strategy in respect to litigation if an open meeting may have detrimental effect on the government's litigation position. And to not return to open session, because I think that'll end our meeting. Right, so we won't return to open session. All those in favor of entering an executive session?
Roll call vote.
We do roll call vote. So Eric?
Stalker, aye.
Lisa O'Neill, aye. So everybody who's not part of that executive session will need to leave the meeting, and we appreciate you being here. I'm going to go shut the laptop because I can hear it. Everyone also has to say and confirm to us that they are alone in a room, although you will see Becky and I, but we are legitimately allowed to be in an executive session together. So I'll be right back.
Okay, and Sharon, if you could, thank you. Okay. All right, I've enabled the waiting room. And apparently there's somebody else in town hall, so Melissa will be just a minute.
I will use this time to just say that my sister saw a great documentary on like she claimed it was. I haven't seen it, but I suspect it is on PFAS called The Devil We Know.
Oh, I've
That's-
heard of it. Yeah.
That's on YouTube for free. You can just watch it on YouTube. So I just pass that on. That's all. I plan to watch it.
Sounds good. Jeff, did we go too late in the meeting? Is Adam no longer?
I don't know whether, I haven't seen Adam on this screen.
Okay.
I'm not sure if he knows he's supposed to be here or,
I thought Donna would have taken care. I have no contact information for him. So I assume she took care of that piece.
I wasn't tasked with getting him here.
Okay.
Yeah.